Good morning, everyone. I'm pleased to see such a nice crowd come out to honor our veterans who have left us with our freedom and our speech and everything that we have. I'm so honored to be here today, and I hope each and every one of you remember each and every one who has lost their lives. And I'm sure that when you think about them, you understand somebody you know, a relative, someone there has fought for our freedom. So at this time, I would like everyone to face the flag and please say Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I'm going to invite Nick Sorrentino, who is speaking for our commander.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for coming today. It's a special day for remembrance, and it's wonderful to see you all here today. I'd like to introduce Dorothy Twist as the Grand Marshal. Dorothy.
A lot of people that are here already know me, but for those of you who don't, my name is Dorothy Twist. I am the president of the Post 261 Ladies Auxiliary at Piscataway, and I also today have the honor of being the Grand Marshal of our Memorial Day Parade. I'm loud. I wanted to take a moment to thank you all for your attendance today on Memorial Day, a day that is dedicated to remembering and honoring those who have made the ultimate sacrifice while selflessly and fearlessly defending our country. I'm deeply honored and grateful to be named the Grand Marshal of the parade. It really means a lot to me. I want to personally thank Colleen Pagano, Mayor Waller, and the entire parade committee for this incredible opportunity. It's truly an honor. As our community comes together today to commemorate Memorial Day, I hope you all remember to also recognize the families that were left behind by these fallen heroes. Thank all veterans, active duty and retired, for their service to our country. They keep us safe and they protect us from harm. Everybody have a great Memorial Day.
Thank you. Here, introduce Rachel.
And at this time, I'm going to introduce Rachel Giambra. She's going to speak for the Ladies Auxiliary.
Hello, I'm Rachel Giambra, and I'm a member of the Post 261 Ladies Auxiliary. Ladies and gentlemen, veterans, friends of veterans, and family of veterans, if you'll please indulge me, I'd like to begin with a poem. In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, now we lie in Flanders field. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you, from falling hands we throw the torch, be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. Those words were written in 1915 by a Canadian brigade surgeon, Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae. He had recently witnessed the carnage at the Second Battle of Ypres. It was the first time during the Great War that the Germans released chlorine gas, causing over 87,000 dead, wounded, and missing Allied soldiers. Fierce combat inflicted great destruction not only on the men, but also on the ground in Flanders. But as with many things, great destruction brings about great beauty. Later that spring, a beautiful weed began to grow and cover the ground that had been hallowed by our soldiers' sacrifice. Yes, a weed, tenacious, pervasive, tough. It makes perfect sense to me that a poppy, a weed, became the symbol of our fallen soldiers. Soldiers like Marine Private First Class Doug Dickey. Dickey, who was not any kind of an athlete, struggled to graduate from boot camp. What he lacked in physical prowess, he made up for in tenacity. He worked hard on the fields of his family farm in Ohio and worked just as hard for our country in the fields of Vietnam. It was Easter Sunday in 1967. He was out with his platoon near the demilitarized zone during Operation Beacon Hill. Dickie looked down and saw a live grenade on the ground and dove on it. While he was down, another grenade was thrown and he grabbed that one, shoving it under his body. Dickie's body absorbed the full blast of the two Chinese stick grenades and he died instantaneously. He made the ultimate sacrifice for our country and saved his fellow Marines just 3 days before he was scheduled to go home. Women have been pervasive throughout our military's fine history, not always in combat. That did not formally occur until 2016, but women have served and given their lives for America. Women like First Lieutenant Sharon Ann Lane, U.S. Army, a nurse who was killed shortly after she arrived in Vietnam when a rocket exploded in the hospital where she was working, killing her patients. Or the 16 nurses that were killed during World War II as a result of suicide bombers, being shot down, or other enemy action. In 2018, Sharon Kent, a cryptologist and rock star among linguists, she was fluent in Spanish, Portuguese, Arabic, and of course English, was deployed to Syria. In 2019, she attended a meeting with a group of military officials. They stopped for a local restaurant that was frequented by American personnel. A man wearing a suicide vest walked by and detonated it. 4 Americans, including Kent, were killed that day. She was one of the people that helped to change the law about women in combat. Her husband was once quoted as saying she was a woman in special forces before there were women in special forces. What could be tougher than a football player? Jack Loomis signed with the New York Giants in 1941 after an All-American career at Baylor University. While still a rookie, having only played 9 games, World War II broke out. At the end of the season, he enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps and was commissioned as a 2nd lieutenant. His first action was Iwo Jima. Loomis had a win-at-all-costs attitude which inspired his men. As they charged forward, Jack fighting as hard as any of them, his men saw him survive several shrapnel hits, only to watch him step on a landmine. He lost both his legs. Loomis was sent to the 5th Division Hospital where, despite doctors' best efforts and 18 pints of blood, the body to his damage was too much even for his athletic frame. Before he died, he's reported as saying, "I guess the New York Giants have lost the services of a damn good end. America lost a good man." Loomis was only 29 years old. On this and every Memorial Day, we strive to remember the sacrifices of the men and women who gave their lives in service to our great country. The tenacious, the pervasive, the tough. Something to think about next time you see the humble poppy.
Thank you, Ed. You're going to introduce Matt.
I'd like to introduce Matt Fogarty.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Matthew Fogarty, a veteran of the United States Navy. I would like to thank Mayor Brian Waller, fellow dignitaries, and all who are present today. But a special thank you to Post 261 for your work and time and thankless efforts that you've made this day possible. Today is a bittersweet day. Men and women of our great nation made the ultimate sacrifice, and we as a nation take today to remember them. Yesterday, across our country, flags were placed on the headstones of our veterans. That flag has a black staff, representing those who have no longer walked on this earth, but shadow among us in the freedom they have given us. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Before I introduce the Honorable Mayor Brian Waller, I'd like to take a second for everyone to take a look to your left and take a look at 2 people that are standing over there. These are soldiers that just returned. They are our National Guard 44th Infantry Combat. Captain Conrad Harway and Specialist Brianna Rojas. Thank you for your service. Now I'd like to introduce Brian Waller.
Thank you, Colleen. Before I say a few brief words, I want to acknowledge Assemblyman Joe Danielson, who's here, our County Commissioner, Chanel McCollum. We have some of our council members, and I think we have all the council members here. We have Council President Dennis Espinoza, Vice Council President Michelle Lombardi, Ward 1 Councilman Frank Ern. Ward 3 Sharon Carmichael. At-large council members Gabrielle Cahill, Laura Leibowitz, and Sarah Rashid. And then we also have former Councilman Steve Kahn, who happens to be a Marine himself, captain. At this time, I'll say a few brief words. Thank you, Colleen. Boy, you really are detailed-oriented. Memorial Day is profound in its calling on us. More than the festivities, it is a date of deep reflection. What rouses our sadness is that finest among us are no longer among us. On the battlefields fighting for the independence of our country right here in New Jersey, on lands, seas, and skies in the furthest corners of the world, their lives were given for others, for the cause of liberty, for the sake of the new generations that would hopefully not know war. Yet new threats come forth. Challenges to freedom arise. And so men and women enlist, put on a uniform, and put their lives in harm's way. And in their inspiration are those whose names are known and some unknown. Their remains buried in revered grounds or forever lost to loved ones. We come today to remember and honor. But more importantly, we should use this day to recommit ourselves to being good citizens, to building our country, to creating a world of peace, tolerance, and knowledge and opportunity. We shall take this day, this Memorial Day, to express our gratitude to those who gave their lives. We shall follow this day with action to earn their legacy. And with that, I want to thank the folks at the American Legion Post 261, and obviously the Ladies Auxiliary, and the Grand Marshal, Dorothy Twist, and all the folks who helped out, no matter how large or small, to make this parade a successful one today. And I'm going to give credit for the weather to Dorothy Twist, the Grand Marshal. She deserves it. Unlike me, when I was the Grand Marshal, it poured the entire parade. Yeah. So with that time, I'd like to introduce our County Commissioner. We'll say a few words on behalf of the County Commissioner Board, Chanel McCollum.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. It's so nice to see everyone today. Can you hear me?
Just closer.
How about now? Okay. It's so nice to see everyone today, and I say that because we are living the purpose of the day, honoring, mourning, and remembering the men and women who died while serving in the United States Armed Forces. They paid the ultimate sacrifice so that we could be free. While we honor them today, let's all remember their families, their loved ones, and thank their families too. While I know it's not appropriate to say Happy Memorial Day, it's a day to celebrate and be thankful. So as we come together with our friends and family, let's not forget the purpose. And I ask everyone that when you see a veteran or an active U.S. military woman or man, that you say thank you. We have a lot to be thankful for, and we have a lot to thank them for. On behalf of the entire Board of County Commissioners, thank you and enjoy the day.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'd like to call up Army veteran and State Assemblyman Joe Danielson to say a few words on behalf of Senator Smith and Kevin Egan, Assemblyman Egan.
Thank you. Good morning, Piscataway. You all look beautiful. On behalf of Senator Smith and Assemblyman Kevin Egan, I'd like to thank you for attending this event in memory of all the veterans of the United States. I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege to remember my family going back to 1917 when my grandfather, an immigrant, joined the New York Cavalry along with his brother and his brother-in-law. Quick 20 years later, they found themselves fighting, arguing with each other because one was in the cavalry and one was in the Italian underground, and eventually got captured by the Nazis. and was later liberated by the British. That also included my father and his best friend, which was my uncle, who toured Europe. And then my 3 brothers, also Army veterans, and my 5 nephews and 3 nieces, 2 of which are colonels today. I'm going to remember all of them for teaching each other, not necessarily a debt that we pay back, but waking up in the morning with an obligation to defend America and what we stand for. Black, white, Latino, tall, short, male, female, we're all Americans because of those before us. And let me assure you, if you never wore a uniform, it was a lot more difficult in 1917 than it was in 2025. So please just quietly think in your past, who have you come across as veterans who served? And listen, let's also not forget the women who had to say goodbye to their family members who were veterans. My mother was an expert at sewing patches onto our uniforms, but really her real strength was raising us and then being able to say with confidence and pride, saying goodbye, never knowing if that was the last time she was going to see one of her loved ones. So in the spirit of my mom, God bless America.
At this time, I'd like to introduce back to you Nick Sorrentino. He is going to start our service. Thank you.
I'm going to be reading a paragraph from the American Legion. Oh, I'm stepping on a cord. American Legion Manual. This day is sacred with the almost visible presence of those who have gone before us. We honor the memory of those who gave their lives in the service of our country and have gone to their eternal rest. May the ceremonies of today deepen your reverence for our departed friends and loved ones. Let us renew our pledge of loyalty to our country and its flag. Let's resolve by word and deed to emphasize the privilege and duty of patriotism. And if I can, just for a moment, I've said this before, and sorry if you have to hear it again. It's amazing to see you all here today, because that means that you have their memories in your heart and in your mind. And when you do that, and you sit around with friends, and I still don't understand or fathom how the Gold Star families could go through that, to go through that heartache. And people that have lost friends that were dear to them. But here's the amazing thing. The fact that you're all here today with those memories and giving honor to them, you help so much. You give solace to those families. Because if you think about it, you're talking about a veteran, and all of a sudden you see him walk through the door and he's smiling, and the room lights up. Then you hear his laughter, and it makes you just get goosebumps all over because you're remembering him. So he's not fading away. No one wants them to fade away. And by being here today, you have done that. And God bless you all for that, and God bless our country. And now we're going to hear some words from the chaplain, Jack. I asked him what my penance would be. He said 10,000 Hail Marys.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I ask you all to please uncover as I say our prayer. Almighty God, we thank you for the opportunities in which abide our land, for the guidance in the hour of peril and the tender love in the time of need. Help us to remember with reverence the valor and the devotion of our departed comrades, not only those whose body consecrates this country's land, but also those who sleep beyond the sea, and those whose others who rest in places will not be known. Teach us how to honor them by cherishing the ideals for which they fought. Keep us steadfast in the cause of human rights and liberties, of law and order and true Americanism. May your merciful beginning rest upon those left behind. Keep us forever firm in righteousness, humble of heart, and unselfish in purpose. Amen.
At this time, we'll have the lowering of the flags played with taps and our flowers to be put on the graves.
This concludes our, our ceremony. I want to thank everybody for coming out. And those who are going to be marching in the parade, you need to get down to Arbor Post. Right there. And thank Dorothy again for this great weather.